Before you sit down to do your next crochet project, here are 5 minutes of stretches and warm-up exercises that I do as a physiotherapist who also crochets to help make my crochet experience pain-free. So the first stretch I'm going to do is to mobilize through the spine, so it'll be cat-cow. So you may have done this before, where we're going to move the back up, arch it all the way up like a cat does, and then bringing it down in the opposite direction like a cow. So inhaling as we arch up like a cat, exhale as we're coming down. So the reason that I have started with the spine is the home of our central nervous system, and that means that all of the nerves that go out into the periphery of our body, into our legs, into our hands in particular, they all come back to the spine. And so mobilizing the spine is a great way to optimize the blood flow throughout the body and to reduce any stiffness that we experience through our spine as a result of sitting for long periods of time. So now I'm just going to change my hand positioning just to allow for a stretch up through the forearms. And I'm going to come into almost like a wagging tail kind of action with the hips, bringing the head and the hips to the same side. And this creates a stretch throughout the side of the body. It's opening up the rib cage on each side. Once again, with those sitting positions, we can just tend to get quite tight with the ribs and it can feel quite stiff. So it's good just to stretch out through the sides and at the same time give our wrists a stretch. Bringing both arms over the head. So this is kind of like a trick exercise. So yes, it does take our shoulders through their full range of movement, which is really important to do at least a few times a day to allow us to maintain full range. But what it's also doing is mobilizing through the upper thoracic spine, which can get really stiff and tight and can sometimes refer pain down into the arm and into the hand as well. So when we are crocheting, we're often sitting and we can often come into these forward positions. So I also like to just open up through the front of the chest and engage the muscles down the back of the spine so that they're ready for when we're sitting for a long period of time. And I'll do that through this exercise here, where I am just squeezing the shoulder blades back and down. So as if I'm putting them into my back pockets. Now you can rest your head on the ground if it's too hard to hold your head up like this. But for me, that's just a way of getting those back muscles working and ready for essentially holding me up while I sit for a long period of time. Spine is feeling nice and mobile, my shoulders are feeling mobile. I am now going to start to look more into the hands and the wrists. So I'll start just by stretching my fingers out as wide as I can and then bringing them in. So once again, just letting the muscles of the body know, hey, we're about to start upon some repetitive movements, just letting everything warm up a little bit. Okay, and then I'll also just add in some it's called radial and ulnar deviation. So it's that waving action of the hand. We use these muscles quite a lot, the muscles of the forearm in crochet. So it's nice just to give them an opportunity to work before you ask the big task of them. Yesterday I had a pretty big day of crochet. I'm trying to make derpy off K-pop Demon Hunters, so I can definitely feel some tightness through here. Today I'm also just going to add in a reverse prayer stretch just to give those forearm muscles a little bit of mobility and stretch. So what this might feel a little bit uncomfortable and discomfort is normal. don't really want pain. So if you're feeling pain, you can lower your hands down. That will reduce the stretch, and if the more you raise your hands, the more intense the stretch will be. And then we can counter this one with a prayer stretch, so just gently moving into it, especially coming out of the previous stretch. So now I feel a whole lot more ready to set myself up well when I'm seated for my crochet. And if you're looking to know how you can do that, I've made a previous video on how I set myself up to have good ergonomics and good posture when I'm crocheting. In the next video, I am going to go through the strengthening exercises that I do to help prepare my body for these longer periods of crochet as well.